Hello, welcome back. Today we'll discuss schizophrenia as I have talked in my last video. So schizophrenia again is one type of psychosis. So if we consider psychosis as a set, schizophrenia can be a subset of it. What happens in schizophrenia other than the classical or characteristic symptoms that we have discussed in psychosis? Those are delusions, hallucinations and severe abnormalities of behavior. There are a few more which are also very characteristic of schizophrenia. Now there are diagnostic criteria according to which we diagnose. However, I think for a general awareness, just a knowledge of some possible symptoms will be important, because a detailed discussion will be beyond the scope of this video. So first we'll talk about the symptoms, the other symptoms that can happen in schizophrenia. But before going to the other symptoms, I'll first say that there are some specific things, specific types of delusions or hallucinations that occur in schizophrenia. For example, this was previously called as bizarre delusion. So bizarre delusion, in it, the bizarreness came from its absolute impossibility. Like, it could not be possible in any context. For example, infidelity is possible. Whether it is true or it is delusion, that's a different thing, but it is a possible concept. Persecution, somebody trying to kill somebody else, those are all possible things. But something which is entirely impossible, those things constituted delusions. For example, if somebody thinks that there is some external chip, microchip, which has been purposely inserted inside that person's abdomen, maybe inside the gut, and then with that chip somebody is trying to take control of that gut, or maybe it's squeezing the gut so much as to remove all the contents of the gut from inside that person's body. So these kind of things are not very likely to happen. So these are what we call as bizarreness. However, this term is not so frequently used technically nowadays. This was just for a concept. There can be other beliefs, thought problems, like people can think that the sufferers may often think that their thoughts or whatever they are doing, they are trying or they are speaking, or how they are interacting is being controlled by somebody else, some external agency, through whatever, through radio wave or any other thing, anything. But this is being controlled by that some other person or some other agency, not by that person himself or herself. Sometimes it may be that somebody is taking away thoughts from inside the head of that person, or sometimes it may appear to that sufferer that whatever he is thinking or she is thinking, it is getting broadcast to all the people, or it is being discussed in the radio, in the TV, or generally in the world, without his speaking to anybody about it. These kind of things can happen. Usually the hallucination that happens in schizophrenia, in psychosis in general, they are very persistent. They usually do not vary. The person does not have a control over it. So if I like, the hallucination comes, and if I do not like, or if I try to stop it, it will stop. It doesn't happen in that way. Next we come to some other symptoms. There can be like we were discussing the abnormalities of behavior, some very severe disorganization of behavior. Disorganization is in very typically weird behavior which are not accepted even in the normal range. That we were talking about in the last video, like maybe picking up from garbage, eating from there, setting fire in the important objects or unimportant objects absolutely without any reason or provocation, unprovoked anger, unprovoked physical aggression, verbal aggression towards anybody, spitting anywhere, such kind of things. There can be some disorganization in the speech. We can see it like the sufferers, some of them may have difficulty in continuing their flow of speech because of a block in their flow of thought. The person is talking and suddenly stopping, and then has no clue as to how to go about it. The person can have other problems, like they can sometimes invent new words which no dictionary is aware of and which does not exist in common usage, or can use an existing word in a very new meaning, which is again not very understandable. Sometimes the sequence of words in a sentence or sequences of sentences in a paragraph are so intermixed and so haphazard that the entire meaning is not comprehensible. Such kind of things also may happen. There can be some other symptoms like complete reduction or complete absence of any interest, any willingness to do anything, any socialization, any social activities, talking to people, interacting with people, complete neglect of self-care, not even taking bath as the person used to do, not taking care of the hygiene, brushing, grooming, passing urine and stool, etc., without taking care of the hygiene. These can also happen. Sometimes some cluster of symptoms may occur, signs and symptoms, in which there is excessive rigidity. When we try to move the person's hand, say, either there will be a complete resistance that the person will not let you move it, or there can be a complete giving in to the attempt, which will make us feel that as if the person is made up of wax, or maintaining some uncomfortable posture for a long time. There have been people, sufferers, who have, maybe they are raising their hand like this and then they keep it like that for maybe 15 minutes, half an hour, without anything. And if you try to put it down, or if you ask him to put it down, he'll not do it. He'll put it down after a few moments or after quite a few minutes at his own time. So these are few symptoms. Along with them, there is invariably always a difficulty in sleep. Sleep is usually reduced in most of the cases, can be reduced in the beginning, in the midnight, or can be with earlier awakening. Also, the quality of sleep is also disturbed. Other than sleep, there is definite change in the appetite in the person. There are changes in other biological functions like sexual activities, if the person is sexually active. There can be some other problems which are often more easily visible to the family members. Like sometimes usually there is a stark change in the personality and the functioning. So sometimes the family members, if the person has predominantly some symptoms which are mostly like reduction in withdrawal from all social activities, staying inside the room, staying aloof, or something of that sort, but the stark change in the functioning, there is a gross deterioration in the personal functioning, in the professional functioning, those are often seen by the family members, which often alarm them that there must be something wrong. If we do not deal with it in due time, there are a lot of consequences. One is there can be memory decline over the years, which we call as global cognitive decline. All the higher mental faculties they gradually start deteriorating. There can be some physical illnesses, like we were talking about, cardiovascular illnesses, endocrine system. There are effects on it. Smoking often gets increased in a person who's having schizophrenia. So again, smoking has its own bad consequences. Other than that, there can be reactions to the symptoms. For example, say I have a hallucination. I hear a voice which is continuously telling me to kill myself. So I might just act out on it. There are suicidal tendencies, suicidal behavior, and some percentage of people often commit suicide as well. So we understand how grave it is. Now, again, coming to the biology, the main neurotransmitters which are responsible are dopamine and serotonin, though others are also into play. So all these brain circuits that we have, which regulate our thought, perception, memory, mood, alertness, arousal, all the executive functions, they get disrupted. And with a chronic dysfunction, again, we know what it can lead to. Often in a long-standing case, when the treatment was not started or the person had it for a long time, undetected, unknown, there is very gross neglect of self-care. The person may appear completely destitute, or may just end up being on a road or something like that. Now there can be problems with the attention, concentration, planning, judgment, and often most of the people having schizophrenia lack the awareness that they are having a problem. So these symptoms I believe will be useful for the family members to understand if there is some problem in anybody they know. Now fortunately, with advancement of medicine, we have very good medications for schizophrenia, because as I said that if the illness is let be untreated for a long time, it has its own grave consequences which nobody wants. Again, it is a constant source of suffering to the sufferer. So we must take care of this fact that the person who is having schizophrenia by no fault of his or her own should not be let suffer so much. So these medicines come under the general umbrella term of antipsychotics. There are some myths about antipsychotics. I will cover most of the myths in another video, and here I would just say that exactly like antihypertensives are used when we have high BP, and there are many people who do not require it lifelong, there are many people who do require it lifelong. So in schizophrenia also, depending upon a lot of things like the duration of illness, the severity of symptoms, the risk factors for relapse, the duration of how long the medicine is to be continued is taken. That decision is taken. And this decision is best taken by an alliance with the professional and the person who's suffering and his or her family members. There should be no bias absolutely from any side regarding anything. So only at that point of time, if we do not have any bias while treating or while receiving treatment, then we can achieve the best possible treatment with the best possible results. Coming to therapies, there are evidenced therapies which are usually not started when the symptoms are very acute and very overwhelming, because the person is often not receptive. So again, when the acute symptoms come down, mostly in the maintenance or the stabilization phase, the therapy is started, and when these two are combined, this actually leads to a better holistic rehabilitation. This will be it for now. If you have any query, feel free to mail me, and we'll discuss about some other subject, some other topic in my next video. Thank you.